Hello, my fair friends. I'm Ruby Roo, sporting a very human look today. How do you like it? Let me know in the comments below. But the reason I'm sporting a human look is that I wanted to be able to go to the grand reopening of the Occult Society here in Chicago, Illinois. The Occult Society was formerly known as the Occult Bookstore, which was located on Milwaukee Avenue. It is now relocated to 2032 West Grand in the city of Chicago. Oh, by the way, here's Bunny. Bunny is with me tonight visiting the Occult Society. So the Occult Bookstore, as I was saying, was one of the oldest operating bookstores of its kind in the country. I hope to learn more about its history today as we venture into the grand reopening. So thank you for joining us on our adventure today, and stay tuned. I am going to turn the camera around because we are currently across the street from the new location. So I do want to swing that camera around so that you can get a view of the facility. So unfortunately, a car actually parked right in front of the new location. So Bunny and I will have to walk up a little bit closer to give you a better view. So here we go. I don't have wings tonight, so I have to cross the street. This is gonna be an exciting challenge here in the city of Chicago. Good Lord. All right, ferry walking. Ferry walking! No, ferry's backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. And this is not even a busy street here in the city of Chicago. Frightening. Okay, well, I have mentioned that I'm actually not a very good flyer anyway, so here we go. Let's see if I can make it. I made it. I'm not dead. This is good. No splatted ferries. All right, well, here is the outside. I don't want to film people without their permission, but I do want to give you kind of a view of their new location. This is about the same size as the previous location. It's not a very, the front part of it does not seem very large, but don't be dismayed by that because the Occult Society is well known for what they offer to the city of Chicago and the greater Illinois occult community here. So let's go in and stay tuned. We'll be sharing more with you later. Now, if you're wondering why I look a little decidedly more human today, there is a reason for that, and that video is coming up. So please stay tuned for my explanation video for the clothing that I'm wearing today. Now, the Chicago Occult Society was originally named the Occult Bookstore, and that is a very prestigious bookstore that is the oldest operating occult bookstore in apparently the United States and perhaps in the world. I will have a link to their website down below so that you can read about them and their history, because they are a fascinating location in the Chicagoland area. Now, as I said, they just had their grand reopening at a brand new location. Now, I did intend to vlog this video on location at the Occult Society, but there's a reason that we're back in the YouTube studio, because I had such an amazing experience at this grand reopening. I was so busy and involved in chatting with some really fascinating people who live in Chicago about spiritualism and occultism and a ton of other topics. So I unfortunately never did get to record more of that video. But as I was at the event and I was speaking with Lisa and Louvel, who are the main operators of the Occult Society, I learned that the reason is that they really, while they are still offering books, especially very rare books on occultism and spiritualism, and different kinds of magical tools and different kinds of crystals. They even have some jewelry pieces. There is a wide collection of things that they have to offer, and while they are still offering that, their space is much smaller, and they've actually
are listing it more as a gift shop rather than a bookstore. And the reason for that is they really wanted to expand their mission and do more of the classes and workshops that they became so famous for when they were known as the Occult Bookstore. And they've actually reframed themselves as a not-for-profit organization, because what they would really like to do is expand out and be more of a service provider to the community rather than being about things. They're about concepts now. So I met so many fascinating people. I was really expecting to run into some of the people that I have met before in Chicago, and I didn't see a single one of you. I'm looking at you, Chris, and you too, Alan. Where were you? So they were not there, but that was all right, because I overheard two sisters, and they were chatting, and they happened to mention that they had gone to Scotland. And while my father, of course, is an Irish puka, I have been to Ireland. I have never been to Scotland, and that is somewhere that I've always wanted to visit. And so when they mentioned that they had spent a vast amount of time there on an amazing vacation that really they found quite moving emotionally and spiritually, I asked them to tell me about their experience, and it was really quite amazing, some of the stories they had. In fact, they mentioned that they both had these really unique magical experiences while they were in Scotland. One of the sisters had kind of a nightmarish one, although she was very safe, and she seemed to have learned some great lessons there. And as we were discussing, I mentioned that perhaps that she had been taken by the Fae, and I mentioned to her that if she ever found herself lost in a Scottish forest in the future, perhaps the best way to handle it would have been to turn her clothing inside out. That is an old fairy trick to break the spell of fairy magic. The idea is that by turning your clothes inside out, you are reframing yourself, you're reframing your mindset and looking at everything from a different perspective. It's about turning in your perspective inside out. So actually physically turning your clothing inside out is what manifests that, and that will break the fairy's spell over you, as if you can turn your clothing inside out. She thought that was very interesting. And then as we started talking about folklore and fae beings, this sister who had gotten lost in the wood proceeded to tell me her plans for this very interesting and fantastical folklore podcast that she's currently in the process of writing. I can't wait until she finishes this project. I'm definitely going to be an avid listener of this show. So when that comes up, I will be sure to list some links for it on the YouTube channel. And also, if you're not already following me on Facebook and Instagram, I will have links to my social media accounts down below. So be sure to follow me there, because I will make sure that you are aware of this podcast when it has its grand opening. So that was one of the magical experiences I had. Then just as I was getting ready to leave, and this gentleman was in the process of buying one of these amazing and rare books that they have to offer at the Occult Society's gift shop area. And we just got into this really deep conversation about what spiritualism means and how it affects the environment around you, and looking at healing your own personal wounds that you've encountered on your life journey. And it was just such an amazing experience to be a part of this new mission that the Occult Society is trying to gather. And I really appreciate that they are trying to be a meeting ground for solitary practitioners of magic. They're not trying to impose a specific doctrine on anyone. Really, the experiences that I've had now at the Occult Society and when they were previously known as the Occult Bookstore is they are really trying to encourage people to explore many different options, and their thought is very much about expanding your world and your mindset and growing, not just as a person, but as a member of a larger community. So I really feel that they give a space for people of different backgrounds, of different practices to come together and really have these deep and meaningful emotional and spiritual discussions to help develop them on their life journeys. So I really appreciate what they're trying to accomplish and what they are about. They also mentioned that they are going to start offering more ritual programming, which is amazing. I think that there is really something beautiful about coming together and marking time together, about acknowledging that the winter solstice is upon us and that the day is the shortest day of the year. I think that that is something worth marking, to use it as kind of a bookend to each year. Okay, here I am at this winter solstice. What have I accomplished from this one, from the previous one? And using a community meeting and ritual to mark that occasion and coming together and really feeling that you're part of something greater than yourself. So they do have regular programming. I believe they meet, and there is a meeting, they have 3 main meetings that meet, I believe, about once a month. So please do check out their website to see what those are. I know that they have a regular coffee meeting on Wednesday nights. They have a monthly meeting for a particular form of magic, I believe called chaos magic, and some other offerings. And please stay tuned, because I'm sure that as they settle in and they're going to have even more to offer. So it's very exciting. I'm really proud and to have them in the Chicago area, so close to where I live. I'm really looking forward to attending more of their offerings, and when they have their first ritual, I will do everything that I can to make sure that I'm there. So I do hope that you've enjoyed this vlogging video, and as always, have a fairyful day.